Diabetes sucks. Whether you have type 1, type 2, 1.5, it doesn't matter. Living with this disease sucks. And that's not new information. I know this isn't some kind of like news flash. Guess what, everybody? It's actually not a great time. The part that sucks about it most is that you cannot be a perfect diabetic. I cannot be a perfect diabetic. No matter how hard I try, I will not do this perfectly. And yet I'm like tested constantly. Every part of my life is like another test to see if I can be the perfect diabetic. Every time you check your blood sugar, every time you take a shot, if you're taking the right amount, if your blood sugar's in the right range, every time you eat a meal, is it the perfect meal for a diabetic? Every time you exercise, did you prepare for this exercise perfectly? We're tested all the time. I can't be perfect. I can't be a perfect diabetic. I can't keep my blood sugar between 80 and 120 all the time without losing my mind. I mean, I suppose maybe I could be obsessed and just check my blood sugar every half hour, every hour, and weigh out every single teeny little gram of carb every time I eat. But that would be a lot of work. And I'd be missing out a little bit on the rest of life. I don't think I need to be a perfect diabetic. It's really funny when you think about it, because even though logically we know it's impossible to be perfect and have perfect blood sugars all the time, we beat ourselves up so much when things aren't perfect, when we don't have a perfect blood sugar, or when we take too much insulin by accident, or when we eat food that isn't the perfect diabetic food. We blame ourselves. We beat ourselves up for it, for not being perfect. I'm not a diabetic robot. I'm a human being, and I make mistakes. Throughout different times of my life, I have different expectations of myself, different standards of what I consider my best effort to be. Right now, for example, 90% of the time, I should be able to take the time, count my carbs, measure my insulin dosing correctly, check my blood sugar as often as I can. That's a reasonable expectation for me right now in my life. Other times in my life, maybe that would be too much. There you go. That's fine. That's honest. That's being human. Life happens. And I am trying to live my life while managing diabetes, doing the best I can, being honest about what my best currently is, and not beating myself up about it. I don't want to be a perfect diabetic. I want to actually live my life and also manage my diabetes at the same time. But managing diabetes and being perfect, not the same thing, in my opinion. I will not blame myself when my blood sugar is high. I will not blame myself. I can acknowledge what I did to contribute to that high blood sugar. I can acknowledge what I can do next time to prevent it. But I will not get mad at myself for not being perfect. Believe me, I make mistakes. I make mistakes. I cannot do this perfectly. I will not hold myself to that standard of perfection, diabetic perfection. I don't think it exists. The boogeyman, lake monsters, and the perfect diabetic. I don't think the perfect diabetic is a real thing. I think the human diabetic, that's for real. And humans make mistakes.